Across the Park podcast is proud to be sponsored by Globe Gas and Heating. For the best kitchen and bathroom renovations, boiler servicing and repair, and central and underfloor heating in the Northwest, head over to globecentralheating.com and quote Across the Park for a free quote.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Across the Park podcast. Cheers Mills.
Cheers. Back on location.
Same location, slightly different backdrop. We are of course at Rock Salt in Crosby. The reason for the slightly different backdrop is we're looking at the setup for their comedy night tonight. So little plug for Rock Salt. Get down here, if you check out their Instagram, it'll tell you the dates of the upcoming comedy nights. As you can imagine, good laugh, lovely setting for it. And quite intimate as well. So
late nights, nice to get a pint and get out. It's Easter weekend, so a bit late for that, but maybe next bank holiday, get over here. It's looking really good. It's going to be a good night tonight.
It is, yeah, it is. So anyway, we're obviously here to talk all things Everton. Shout out to Wear Clothing. We've still got the ATP 25 offer on.
Smart.
And of
Proper
course,
smart.
as always, Donny. And of course, to our main sponsors, Globe Heating and Gas, as you'd have seen the video at the start of the podcast. Lots to talk about, really. I mean, we should cover the Tottenham game. We'll be moving on to the United game later, and of course, we'll want to chat briefly about Frank Lampard's bizarre caretaker appointments back in management so soon at Chelsea.
Easy. But
I'm going to start with the Tottenham game. I mean, where do we start I'll start with a slight apology for the instant match reaction. It's not our usual standard. I mean, I appreciate no negative comments from anyone, me videoing it in my car. But
you put it best when you said that everything conspired against us. Bit behind the scenes, the lads who record or step in when one of us can't do it, all weren't going. I couldn't sit where I usually sit and in turn sit with Judgy, so you've done really well. I watched it, I thought you've done really well.
But anyway, the reason I touch on that is that was the reaction to it. And I can't say a lot's changed since then. I came out of that game with a lot of pride. Of the performance, the way the team reacted. Again, the contribution of the manager in terms of the changes. I can't say at the time that I was, in support of all of them, but he sees it better than we do, and that's what he's there for. It's not always the case, of course, with managers, but certainly in his short period so far, he's done that. But again, I could be nothing but proud of the performance of the players in terms of the application and the attitude, having gone 1-0 down and being down to 10 men.
There's a few things that have built up to this. I think that we touched upon after the Chelsea game, to come behind twice against a good team in Chelsea, give that team the belief, and I think it also gave us, the supporters. I was sitting in the street ends on Monday night. Well, I say sitting, it's just stood up the whole way. It was a completely different atmosphere there, but there was a lot of belief that Everton went out. People weren't leaving early, and people were with the team, and I think not so much that Chelsea game, but I think if that Chelsea game hadn't happened, you might have got people, oh, here we go again, same old Everton, proper Everton, typical Everton, can I get to the car in time before the rush? It felt like everyone was with the team and everyone stayed, and I think it feels different to me. It just feels different, and there was a real chance that this could have gone so far downhill. Southampton and West Ham in January, and the protests and Headlock Gate, it felt like we were in chaos. There's still a large element of that. The boards still aren't there. The fans are still protesting. If you're in the ground watching the team, you wouldn't think that was happening. It's removed. It's separate. It feels different.
I mean, going into the game, going into the game, I did say, I thought a point would be a good result against Spurs, given that we were not sure what type of Spurs will turn up, and obviously our mates who come on from the Spurs podcast, reiterated that it could be a 3 or 4-0 win for Spurs, or they could just roll over. I don't think it was a great performance from Spurs. In fairness,
weird, didn't
they were passive, very passive, very strange tactics. I mean, I was listening to TalkSport briefly on the way home, and every Spurs fan that come on was like, "Why are we passing it round at the back, play it into the hands of a team that relishes the chance to go and put the team on the back foot, etc." But it wasn't a great performance. But the reason I mentioned the draw, you look at the results that since then, or on the same night,
gone okay,
again, it's another good point, isn't it?
They've gone okay, the results, and that's the worrying thing for me, still going in. I know people will say, just concentrate on Everton. It's hard when there's that many teams around us. And we've had a bit of luck there this week with the West Ham result last night. Now, that could kill them. If they don't do something drastic, that could kill them. I think they're in big trouble. Yeah. Whereas we're on the shoes on the other foot for us. We've got momentum going the other way. And I'm not turning up to games. I didn't turn up to Monday night. I wasn't scared of Tottenham. And you're right in what you're saying. The way they set up sort of played into Everton's hands. There was large parts of the game. If you remove yourself from being a supporter of either club, Tottenham were the better footballing team. They passed when they wanted to. They switched the play and they were dangerous. And you could see who the better team was. But Everton had more fight. Everton wanted it more. And Everton was sort of laying little traps, like you roll it out from the back because the Iwobi and Doucouré will press, and then if you try and get over there, Dwight McNeil will press, and we're going to force you into positions where you don't want to be in because of your stupidness. They were really naive, Tottenham, and I know they've got an interim manager or a caretaker manager, and it's all a bit skew-whiff over there. But you know, when we scored, I thought we'd go on and win it. I really did.
Yeah, they did, and it wasn't only the fact that they buckled. We literally, we literally stuck our, took our chest up, like, this is us now, we're having this.
And when we scored, straight away, the referee has indicated that it's 6 minutes and the ground was like, and it reminds me a little bit, remember a couple of years ago, Yelovich scored. He scored 2 in injury time.
That was Tottenham.
This could be again, it just takes a Sims to knock one in here.
And there was that little scramble in the box, wasn't it, towards the end, where I couldn't quite see from the park and what has happened. It looked like just the one towards goal was kind of half blocked and cleared away.
And Tottenham got a corner.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, here we go.
But no, listen, those types of games and those performances, obviously it's slightly ironic that we're talking about a David Moyes team that's collapsing at the moment, but they did remind me of those David Moyes, times when like we just stay in the game, we'd stay in the game. The other team, we always deny the other team opportunities. One thing I do want to mention though, and I've said it to a few people this week, we're creating so many more chances, and it's not from like anything, exquisite. There's nothing technical about it. It's just very basic stuff, but we're carving out chances. We're getting bodies in the area, and we look dangerous. It's such a shame, obviously, and I don't think we're not going to get that cutting edge between now and the end of the season in terms of someone who's going to get us 10 goals or whatever. But the team as a collective are creating chances.
We might not need that 10 goals. We might not need that one player, who's going to score the 10 goals. I think we recorded a show a couple of weeks back, and I couldn't have put it better than when you said Everton playing within the limitations. This manager knows what this set of players can do, and if you notice how we're getting our goals or how we're getting our chances, it's direct. Yeah. There's no little 1-2s.
Even from wide areas, it's direct. Just get the ball in the area.
Dwight McNeil is just looking to who can I put the ball in their box, and can whoever's in there, are they in a position to cause trouble? And if they're not, I'll go back and we'll wait.
Or I'll kick against the defender
and I'll win a set piece, get the big fellas up. Tarkowski is so important. If you notice that he's peeling to the back post, even when they cleared a free kick, for instance, I think they cleared a free kick, he stayed in there and said, hit me again. I'm not going nowhere, hit me again. And that's a weapon.
He's enjoying it.
That's a weapon. And you've got Abdullah Doucouré who will come on to the centre off, but he's got a new lease of life. I thought he was brilliant when he was on the pitch again on Monday night.
He runs, doesn't he? He runs in behind so much. What I've really enjoyed about him.
How'd you mark him?
I know, he just runs everywhere, but he's constantly running forwards. So he's taking a man with him, regardless of whether he's a threat. And unfortunately for us, he's not. I mean, that header in the first half of the Park End was one of the worst headers I've ever seen. It was harder to do what he done than actually score or hit the target.
I think scoring goals and creating chances, which is what your initial question was. Sorry, I do think the manager has scrapped what we can't do. That was the big difference. Frank Lampard was asking our players to do things they weren't able to do. He said, forget all that. I don't want to see it. I want to see you win the ball. And I want to see you get it upfield as fast as you can, or as dangerously as you can. And that suits us. It suits them players.
Well, we won't specifically talk too much about the sending off. I mean, from my perspective, it's obviously soft. It's a really frustrating one because in a weird way, it was half caused by Sean Dyche pulling him back.
Yeah.
And that's meant he was like, I think if he was standing up straight, he wouldn't have went like that. He'd have probably like squared up to him. And
these still images and the slow motion makes it look a lot worse. In real time, it was just a little.
It was a claw, wasn't it? It was a
get off me.
A kitten like going like that.
Didn't find his eye and go, there's your eye. It wasn't nothing like that. No. And Kane, I'm not going to criticise Kane for that because if someone at our strike had done it and we needed points, I'd be all for it.
That's what I said. So that aside, I think what I do want to touch on. How do we now replace that? Is it James Garner? I say Joe Garner. Is it James Garner who comes in? I mean, he looked bright when he come on. Is he going to be the person who plays deep and we let Anana do the?
We've seen Tom Davis more, funny enough, under Dyche. That's the first time. Is the second time we've seen Garner. Sorry, possibly even the first time. We've seen Davis a few times.
Only because Davis has been fit, though.
Yeah, but even when Garner, I think Garner was on the bench a couple of times. James Garner and Tom Davis was getting the nod. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tom Davis. It wouldn't be who I'd play, but I just wouldn't be surprised.
Especially given the fixture coming up. You want someone with legs, and I suppose someone who's coming back from a long-term injury, asking him to run and cover the ground.
Something else that wouldn't surprise me would be to put Iwobi back in there, and then put Gray
right,
and McNeil either side, and then you bring in a Sims, and you just say to Sims, "Can we just play off you for the first half, and we'll see how it goes."
Or I mean, it's certainly not been the fashionable thing to do, but he might just play Morpie up there and go, "Look, we'll run around, we'll cause problems, get to 60 minutes."
I don't think he sees anything in him.
Yeah, he hasn't played a minute, has he now?
He's got someone out of position playing in front of him, and the kids leaped him.
Yeah, true. I mean, it certainly isn't what I would do, but I'm trying to think of.
And there's rumours that we nearly sold him in January, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's surfaced, hasn't it, recently?
So he does look like he's got a future, and without being disrespectful, I'm not too bothered by that.
Disappointed by that, but again, looking forward to the Man United game. I mean, before we do, we haven't even mentioned Michael Keane's goal. Wow. I mean, you know
the training videos, he does it all the time.
Yeah. Well, he said that in the post match interview, didn't he?
I've got that in me. I'm glad I've done it in a game.
I mean, you say about the goals coming elsewhere. I don't want that to be a fiction that Michael Keane shoots every time we get it. He's not like Daniel Agger, is he? Scoring like 40-yard goals. But
that's going to come now, isn't it?
Listen, it is. Yeah, it reminded me from where I was, and obviously it went right in the top corner. It was like Vincent Kompany's goal against Leicester.
Yeah, you're right.
It was like it just swerves away, but it's like he's taking a touch, and it's like, I've got to hit this.
Yeah. I'm going to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about here. Many people might say that's very accurate, but I was like, don't shoot when he got it. Don't shoot. Because it opens up, and even though it opens up, I was like...
Everyone in the ground was saying that. I said that in the post-match. I said, everyone in the ground, I don't care who you are, if you say you weren't saying don't shoot, even in your head, you're a liar.
Yeah.
Unless you're maybe Sean Dyche, who believes he could do it.
So what a nice moment was as well. I've never been his biggest fan, and I probably never will be, to be honest.
I'm not going to say it.
The crowd, he got a keynote chant after the goal in the Glad Street, and at full time he came over, they'd done a lap of honour, and he got a keynote chant, and he gave it a thumbs up, and he looks like someone who's enjoying his football. I never thought I'd say this about him and Decore, but they look like they've made a real difference.
I mean, the thing is, Everton fans are fair. They are fair, and I think in the past he's been given game time when he didn't deserve to have game time, and other players deserve to be playing. Yeah. No Evertonian at the moment could deny that he's earned his place in the team based on his recent form.
But the Arsenal game away was we all thought why.
And the other thing is, he's a nice guy, isn't he? He's not like a horrible mercenary who's been one of the players, I guess, over the last 5 years who took the money and whatever. He's always been there. He's been reliable in terms of, and I go back to that word, limitations, in terms of what he's capable of doing.
Yeah.
And he's been the biggest victim of the change of manager, having to I'm not sure. He's clearly someone who enjoys an arm around the shoulder, someone who believes in him, and clear and concise instructions. Do this. He had a decent period under Ancelotti, and he has a half decent period under Allardyce. But
in a defensive setup, he's very, very good. He is very good. I'm not going to say... The only time I've really been worried about Michael Keane is when he's played in a team that, A, has been devoured of confidence and has seen another manager off. He's been a big part of that. Or when we played in a system, like when Marco Silva tried to make an advanced team and the personnel wasn't quite right.
Yeah,
Frank Lampard tried to make us...
split the centre backs and all
Lampard
that.
bombed him. Oh my God. Lampard bombed him. And his comments last week weren't from Keane saying, I asked the manager, Lampard's what I can do, and Lampard said nothing.
He basically said, if you're at the age now, you're not going to get better. You're just going to have to
And that's not true. You can have a manager who knows how to make you better despite the age. I hate referencing this, but it's the closest thing I can do. When Rodgers came over the park and he made Gerrard into the defensive, Gerrard became arguably a better player for that team at the time. You can do it, and its limitations. He's stopped. He's got Michael Keane and Tarkowski. He's got them. We're not playing a high line. We do not play out from the back. We duel, we fight, and we get up for our set pieces. It's simple, and Keane can do that.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, listen. Again, going back to it, I can't remember. Did I predict 1-1?
Yeah.
I thought I did.
I said 2-1 either side. You said 1-1.
I thought I said 1-1. I was about to message you, but then I thought, I know I'd said a draw will be a good result, but I can't remember if I did predict it. But I'm fairly certain I did a lot.
And I said in reply, get on this. He's on a great run. I hope he did.
Get a bet on. Yeah. Well, moving on to the Man United game, I'm not sure I'll be bold enough to predict a positive result in this one, but you never know. Obviously, it's another big game, but I think I put it into that category of free hit, so to speak. I don't think this is a game. In fact, I'm certain it's not a game that Dyche and his backroom team will have been saying we need to get a point from this game.
Yeah. But by the time you're watching this, the Man U preview with Tony Kelly might be out with the Kelly Webster show. They've done the Man United Cup game preview with us, so they're back on. That'll be Friday, so that'll be out. It'll be interesting to get their take on it. I remember when I spoke to Tony last time, and I said Everton would set up in a defensive fashion in the cup game, and he said we won't like that. We haven't really got the personnel to really get that. We like a back and forth, and we like to be able to counter.
I mean, Brentford done it at the time of recording. It's Thursday. Brentford done it last night, and obviously United won the game, but they only won it 1-0. They had lots of chances, and this United team do get a lot of chances. And touch wood, they don't. The ratio of chances to goals isn't particularly high. They do need a lot of chances to get goals. Yeah. So you could see last night that if it wasn't for Rashford's goal, it could have been a frustrating night for them.
Well, look, can Everton get 3 points? Of course they can. Any team on any given day, we've seen it enough times. We've had teams, lower league teams, come to us and beat us and wonder how. Remember Shrewsbury when they were in Division 3?
We're not that bad, Mills.
No, but anyone can beat anyone.
We went to the away games, didn't he? Jemson free kick.
So it's a game, and look, we give City a game on New Year's Eve. Arguably could have got more out of City. So it's a game that Everton can win. It'll take a lot of things to go our way. It'll take an almost perfect performance. I'm minded to say that Everton will go there with a defensive shape, and we'll play very, very similar to how we did against Chelsea, where at the first 20-25 minutes it wasn't pretty, but we reacted to things that were happening in the game. We reacted positively, reacted well to things going into the game. Without doing a prediction, and we'll get to that, I think Everton will go and get a draw on Saturday morning or Saturday early afternoon. I really do. I think Everton will go and get a draw.
Do you know what does? You just mentioned something I was going to touch on there. I think the early kick-off helped us, I always think, and you do see it a lot in the results. And
for the away team, you mean, or
I think for the team that's less favoured and negative for the team who is favoured, I think the early kick-offs, it's hard. I think for footballers to really get themselves going and be a full throttle in the early kick-off. I do. I think you do see more surprises and less goals in the earlier games than you do in
How many times does the half-12 kill you?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. See, I always go, I'll get that early banker in there and set myself up for the day. And you're like, see.
Tottenham got beat by Norwich.
Exactly. 0-0 or 1-1. So I do agree with that in terms of I can see that happening. I can see it being a game where we can frustrate them.
How do you think we'll set up? You asked me there about James Garner. Do you think it'll be Garner or?
I actually do. The more I think about it, I think Tom Davies will probably be the person to come in, simply because you lose it to it before. I think that the players. I think what he'll want to do is put as little disruption on the system as possible. I think Damari Gray against Chelsea, certainly against Forest, was a decent target man. This Man United team do play a high line. I think that's where you can get them in behind, and he'll want that threat of being able to put that ball into the channel, having someone to chase it. I think putting Iwobi back into that central position. I think it's maybe one for a home game if you're going to do it. I'm not sure it's a tactic that I play with.
Maybe a game you've got to go and win, maybe more.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, and the biggest factor for me, I don't think he'll want to take Damari Gray out the team. And just bear with me on this one. He doesn't like Damari Gray in the wing. He hasn't played in that position. I don't think since Dyche has been manager.
Not even in game.
No, he hasn't even brought him on as a winger. So I don't think he trusts Damari Gray with respect to do that, the type of work that he wants out of that winger. Whereas, you look at Iwobi and McNeil, and they're very industrious, aren't they?
They offer a lot off the ball.
Back.
Yeah.
They kind of sit back as wing backs, don't they, at times in that system. So I
don't know. Iwobi got a bollocking on Monday, did you see?
Yeah.
Coleman got done in the first half, and Coleman turned to Iwobi and said something, and then the manager got up with Steve Stone and said, Coleman's right, you left him. Yeah. But they quickly got that back.
Yeah, and again, he's an honest player, isn't he? Iwobi he does put the work and he's capable of covering that ground. I just don't think the manager, particularly in a game against Man United, when the wingers are their most dangerous players in terms of Anthony and Sancho and possibly Rashford who plays him off the left, I don't think he'll want to be exposed with respect with Damari Gray on the right. So I think with that said, I think your shout of putting Davies in there is probably the most likely scenario.
Not the most popular, but the most likely.
No, I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. I thought he put a brilliant shift in when he come on.
The Rangers difference to pair
up. And you know what? He looked like someone who, he's a weird one, isn't he? I'd never think he's been a player who looks like he's lacking confidence. He always seems like he's having himself. And that's almost the most frustrating thing about him. It's like, you messing? It always seems like he's not arsed, but he come on the other night, and it was almost like the manager said, forget about on the ball, you just run round, kick people,
win the ball back.
Yeah, and I think it might be another player who does relish the simple side.
Just win the ball back, forget everything else.
Win the ball back, and if you do anything with the ball, great, but don't take any risks.
Yeah.
And you know, every time he got the ball, he was looking to go forwards, which is great to see. The last few seasons, it's just been sideways, and he doesn't really win the ball. So it might not be certainly the worst change in the world. It'll just be interesting to see who then is given the initiative to go forward, whether it is him and whether he goes, look, you are similar to the Corey in terms of you can run around.
It would have to be, wouldn't it, really?
I guess that's the lowest risk tactic, isn't it? It's keeping the two more disciplined midfielders in terms of Garner and Arne in those positions and allowing Davies to just run around, chase it. There's no tactical...
And in game, if you want height, you can switch Onana and Davis at that stage in play, can't you? You can just say, like, for the next 5 minutes, we need to start keeping the ball, making it stick better. We're going to have Onana as the point. Because Decore does that at times, doesn't he? You see Pickford sometimes saying to Decore, right, over the pads, lad, we need to hit you for 5 minutes here. And we play like that. But it's got all the makings of a good game. I think we'll probably cover this more in the next few weeks. But this running now, I feel like we're in it. I feel like it's been coming, and I've been looking at the fixtures. We've got a great point at Chelsea, great points against Tottenham. Let's go and get another great point against United, but then we're in games, you've got to go and win. I feel we're there now.
That's it, but I think, and this might sound like a really negative comment, I think the most important thing about Saturday is to not get a hiding. Don't get a hiding. If we come out with a 1-0, a credible 1-0 win, a 4-0 or a 5-0 going into this run-in where we need to be confident, need to play more on the front foot, I think could really hurt us.
Because we're looking at West Ham now, so we don't want teams looking at us going, Everton have just got a tonk in there.
No.
I don't think we will, no due respect. I think if we do, I think there'll be something that happens, like red cards or something really goes against us.
Which would be a stinker if another red card, particularly if it's one of the midfield players, would be a disaster. I mean, another thing that I think is a positive for us is we've done well against them in the cup.
It was his, yeah.
You know, we were unfortunate, that very tight offside. Even Morpay got on the score sheet, so you know that was. It wasn't. It was Cody.
Cody, in the end, Morpay nearly got on the score sheet and got hooked off the line.
Yeah. Cody got it in the end, but I thought we played well against them in the cup. We were unlucky not to get a result there. So, and they had a full strength side.
They're not a bad team to play, you know, because the sort of
they give you chances.
Yeah, and I mean their mentality as well. I think they're probably looking at this as and not thinking because of where they are in the league, not thinking this is must win. Fingers crossed, touch wood, Liverpool can't catch them. There's a number of teams who are indifferent around that Champions League places. I know Brighton are giving it a push now. Villa somehow have got into
that win against Brentford the other night. Those give them a bit of a
I just don't think. I'd rather be playing them now than I would if they were 6 points off top of the game in hand. You know,
haven't they got the Europa League game coming up in the week as well?
The things that are saying that they're probably looking at their next 10 games going win 7 and a third, but win the Europa League as well. Do that, and that's a successful season. Yeah. I just don't think this game is as must win for United. I think that might play into our hands. I think their manager might look at this and just go, we play someone else there for this one and just see how that one goes. Maybe not wholesale, maybe just 1 or 2.
Talking me into this now. Go on then, onto the prediction then.
1-1. I should have made you go first, really, so I can copy. I'll go in 1-1. I did say if it weren't 2-1 either side against Tottenham, it would be a score draw, a 1-1. I think Everton can score goals now. I think it'll be tough to keep United out.
You can't say if it's not 2-1 either side, I'll go for a 1-1. That's like 3 score predictions.
Yeah, but that's it. I've had 3 chances, but I'll stick to 1 score prediction. I will go 1-1. I don't think Everton will score first. I think Everton will score second in the game.
I don't think anyone will score on Saturday. I'm going to go with my prediction of a low-scoring game and as low as it gets, 0-0.
Take it.
All day. Absolutely snap your hands off.
Hands toes, coach banging on the M62 on the way home.
I'll be away. I go away tomorrow. So I'll be in New York. I'm going to make a short trip to a bar and watch that one, I think.
I would say I'm jealous, but I'll be watching the game at Bootle Football Club. I know a few lads who work there. So come over and say hello as always. But Noah, my little boy's the mascot for Bootle on Saturday.
That's classic. One of our subscribers or listeners, wasn't it?
Got me into that. So thankful for that. Been in touch with Bootle. So yes, I'm going to watch the Everton game down at Bootle. Unfortunately, I won't be at Old Trafford. The next best thing is my little boy's going to be the mascot of Bootle. So hopefully we get a good result, and then you're having a few nice Maggi in the sun. It'll be a nice weekend for both of us.
Absolutely. Well, listen, that's it. That's it for this one. As you say, as Millsy said before, keep an eye out for the Man United specific preview, which will be interesting. That'll be out. Is that coming out before this one?
No, this one. So we're recording Thursday. It's around 6 p.m. now. So this should be out Thursday evening, I imagine. And then I'm recording midday tomorrow with Webby O'Neill. Probably get that out tea time Friday in time for the big game Saturday morning. Be all over the socials. The socials are at Across the Park PC. Go and check them out. One thing you missed out is how the hell is Frank Lampard the Chelsea manager?
Oh wow,
how's that happened?
I'll keep it short. I mean, it's a bit like someone mentioned it today.
And we like Frank, don't we?
Duncan Ferguson, though, isn't it? It's a bit like a
He's
Duncan
there,
Ferguson. Duncan. Yeah, he is there, Duncan. Yeah.
And we're not disrespecting Frank because we like Frank. And
we do. And
it's just mad.
He's our mate, but he's got that personality. Clearly a charmer, isn't he?
Maybe he's safe for that club. That club look at him and go, he's more of a fit. And I mean, if I was a Chelsea fan to spend £600 million and be 11th, you'd question. So maybe they're putting a bit of a shield there. Do you like Frank? With Di Matteo done that after Rafa.
I mean, it would be proper Everton, as you said, if you win the Champions League.
He's like that.
Yeah. You just couldn't write it. You know, Ancelotti leaves, win the Champions League, but to be
Carlo last night against Barca.
Absolute
levels.
Masterclass. I enjoyed that. I love watching Real Madrid anyway. You know, for obvious reasons. Liverpool can't beat them, so it's always good to watch them. But yeah, good game that last night. Anyway, that's all we got time for. Thanks again to our sponsors. Thanks again to everyone who has subscribed. If you haven't already, please do. It does help us. It doesn't cost you anything. Little button normally on the bottom right hand side of this video. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again for all your support. And as always, up the fucking toffees.